going on, everybody? Welcome to Commanders Daily. I'm your host, Bob Matthews. This is your one-stop shop for everything going on with the local 53. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss a second of it. And apologies for the setting here, as well as, maybe the microphone, using the mic in the computer today. We are on the road, but we didn't want you to miss what's going on because it's a little busy right now. Rookie minicamp got busy over the weekend. It was the draft choices as well as the undrafted free agents that came in. So we're going to run that down for you real quick, as well as tackle a couple of other topics. So Friday, they were forced inside. We did not get a look at the rookies until Saturday because of inclement weather. And you're not going to see a whole lot right now because, quite honestly, there's no contact involved right now. It's 7-on-7 and then skill position drills. Mainly, this is a chance for these kids to, I think Dan Quinn used the phrase onboarding, getting used to the playbook, getting used to the calls, the terminology, all that good stuff. So you're not going to find out a whole lot about most of these guys. A few tidbits that came out. Trey Amos, Commander's second round pick. He, according to some of the teams, had a bit of a back issue. He says everything is fine. He was a full participant in all of the practices for all the workouts Friday and Saturday. And when he was asked about the injury, he said, no, he is 100% and he is ready to go. And in the little bit that, we were able to see a practice, looked pretty good. Again, you're not seeing a whole lot because of the fact that we're talking about shells here, but at least he's looking okay. As far as Josh Connerly Jr., he was pretty impressive with his quickness. Again, that's all you're going to see is, maybe quickness from point A to point B because, quite frankly, there's nothing else to see since you're not suiting up and there's no contact going on. So that is pretty much all that we've got for you when it comes to minicamp. Again, another one later in the month, and then OTAs later in the month, and then the full veteran minicamp coming up in June before everybody splits for summer vacation. So, win totals for the Commanders for 2025. It was set earlier a couple of weeks ago at 9.5. And I think that's a pretty good number. If you like diving into all of those numbers and everything, stats and comparing them with others, if you like numbers, let's just put it like that. Check out Neil Greenberg of the Washington Post. He does a great job with stats. And when you think about it and when you look at the schedule, again, we don't know what the dates are on the schedule, but we do know where they're going, who they're going to play. Greenberg does a great job of breaking down the stats. I'm not going to go into all of them, but considering the fact that they're playing a second place schedule this year, and if you look at their opponents, they've got a lot of playoff teams, but I think 9.5 is a good number to start with. Remember, Vegas sets that to try to get people to bet on it, either bet on the over or the under. They're trying to entice you in. What do I think their actual number could be? I can actually, when I look at the schedule, I can easily get them to 9 wins based on what happened last year and where we're at right now, today. That's going to change when teams start suffering injuries, as they always do. But as of right now, I can easily get them to 9 wins. It is not a stretch to get them to 10 or 11 either. So I really, considering what we're playing with here and what we've seen the last, what we saw last year, I think it is a 9.5 win total. It means there's a lot of respect coming for this team from, the so-called experts out there. And again, if you look at it as a starting point, I think it's very, very reasonable to think that they can get to 9 wins, and I can easily get them to 10 or 11 by the end of the season. Again, as it stands right now, without any injuries and the way everything looks on paper. All right. Speaking of, opponents and the schedules and all that stuff, I know everybody has been talking about the game against the Dolphins. It is a Dolphins home game, and we are expecting the rumors all over the place say that the Commanders game against the Dolphins, everybody is thinking that that one is going to be in Spain next year in Madrid. Now, the schedule is coming out later this week. That's when we're going to know officially. Everything you have seen online is pure speculation right now. I know it's a big rumor, and it does make a lot of sense. Again, the two teams play each other. The NFL wants a marquee matchup, but not too marquee of a matchup, if you know what I mean. They want something that's going to draw some interest overseas, but they're not going to put, say, the Chiefs and Eagles over there, mainly because that's you don't want that kind of a matchup in that 9:30 a.m. window on one of those international games. But they do want to grow the game internationally, so they've got to thread a fine line there. The Dolphins, we don't really know how the Dolphins are kind of at an inflection point with this team right now. I think there's a little bit of there's some rumblings that the players are starting to sour on Mike McDaniel a little bit. Tua's coming back from injury. We know he's got the history of concussions. Does he last until late November when that game we think is scheduled? When that game is scheduled for Madrid, it's a good questions to ask. And again, it would kind of fit because Jaden Daniels is, of course, the new it guy in the league. Putting him up against Tua, if Tua's healthy, that could be an offensive shootout. You figure the international crowds would like that. Not going to surprise me at all if we see that come to fruition. And again, there's so much smoke out there about it right now. It just seems to make a lot of sense. It's not official, but if you're looking for a nice little vacation in November, I hear Madrid is lovely that time of year. All right, finally, we told you that we love to hit our viewer mail comments whenever we can, and thanks to everybody that has written in, commented on the different posts. Big debate going back and forth over Deebo Samuel and George Pickens. Who got the better trade there? The Cowboys with Pickens, the Commanders with Samuel. I think you know where I fall on this. And I still say that it's the Commanders with Deebo Samuel. If you go by the analytics, obviously Pickens' numbers might look a little bit better last year. But the one thing I would say about that is that, remember, Deebo was pretty much the only weapon towards the end of the year, the only game-changing weapon, quote unquote, that the Niners had. Lots of injuries last year. I think that limited Deebo, especially in the make or break portion of the season from, say, week 7 or 8 until they were officially out of the playoff picture. It was too easy for teams to key on Deebo without Christian McCaffrey and all of the other people that they lost on offense. So, you ask me, I say the Commanders get the better of that deal, but time will tell, and at least we'll get to see these two match up against each other twice next year. Ought to be fun. All right, that's going to do it for us. We got to get on out of here. Don't forget, hit the like and subscribe button and join us every day of the week so we can keep you up to date on what's going on with the Local 53. And remember, like the wise man once said, if you're out on your bike tonight, as always, to wear white.